Otherwise, if you're not already logged into Marketing Cloud, go ahead and do that now, because things are very nuanced. It's going to be different for everybody. So we can go through all of those different nuances in training today as we will, but it seems best to just go ahead and get your hands dirty in your account. And then it seems to be pretty intuitive. And if you're seeing something that's like, I don't get why that happened or what's going on there, great space to ask a question. So I will do my best to monitor chat. Feel free to put items into there, or if you're comfortable unmuting, you're welcome to do that as well. Before we get into this project, I do want to take the opportunity to let you all know that we do have a new member of our team. So you'll start saying the name Josiah Bartel. And if Josiah, you don't mind unmuting yourself for a second to just say hi to all, share your title, a little bit about yourself, and yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Hi, everybody. My name is Josiah Bartel. I started on the 10th, so I'm still pretty new to everything. But, my last week went well. Just sort of learning like the ropes and just like organizational structure and everything. And I'm starting to get more stuck into the super user training this week. So before this, I was in the tech world. I was working for a ghost kitchen company. Really just like was looking for the right next door to open, and this popped up. And I really like the team so far. My experience is in operations primarily, so both like physical operations, like managing a facility, and then I also have about a year of CRM experience. And so my role here is the CRM operations administrator. So I will be one of the points of contact, not yet, but eventually, once I'm fully trained and really in with the knowledge. One of the points of contact just for super user and campus support. So you'll start seeing me on these meetings along with Mel and Lauren. And if you have any questions, just feel free to shoot me an email or like a Teams message or something, and I can explain more. But no, it's a pleasure to meet everybody.
It's a pleasure to have you on the team, and today's meeting just worked out perfectly to introduce Josiah to some of the folks that he'll be supporting, you all being system users. So we wanted to take that opportunity, but as was said, we'll be training, no change of process for y'all, and we will do far more formal introductions so that we can get to know each other better and what we're all doing in the tools. I will go ahead and pivot on over to today's session on this preference and business unit optimization. So today's training will, for the most part, we'll be going through this user training session. You can already see that we've gone ahead and done this for UCCS as well as the CU Denver campus already. Good news, it's been going well, no big hiccups, anything that came out after we launched that we didn't really anticipate. So I think that sets a good standard for others following. But before I get into that, I do just want to highlight, like, from an overarching level, why are we doing this project? And right, with my role in change management, I'm the first to say, if we don't have to change it, should we? Do we? And this is a project that I'm very excited about. We've been operating, well, in a growing world, in a growing space since we launched in 2015. And the way that we configured our organization we didn't anticipate the amount of growth that we ended up having. So this has really been an opportunity to think more efficiently, optimize, and lay the groundwork for what can be a future of a lot more projects. We have dreams. It's on the roadmap, no definite timelines, but we get a lot of feedback that some folks in the tools want to do something really complex and they might not be able to. And on the flip side, we hear, I wish it was easier. I only need to send a message once a month. And those two business needs often keep us from any progress. So the intention of having a simpler, more optimized model across the board would open up the doors in the future for what could be like a simple sending method for those folks who don't need a lot of complexities, just get an email out the door. So that could help us with spam compliance, cut training in half, a lot of things to make those individuals' lives easier. And on the flip side of that, it could also allow us to, for those of you who do want to be more robust, to have been embracing things like journeys for a long time, that you would also be able to do that and probably better. So it's not just one project, it's many, many projects that should set us up for success in the future. So diving into actual impacts that you should be seeing now if you are in your business unit. The biggest changes came for those who are now sharing business units. So that's many of us, but not all of us. So that is what we will be focusing on today. You should be able to quickly figure that out by either looking in your account and what we'll walk through today. You might start seeing this folder structure so that folks can share an account, or you may not. But you would also have that information in the communications that we've been sending out leading up to this session. So refer back to that email, and if you're sharing, it'll say you're sharing with some folks and who they are, and if you're not, it won't be mentioned in there. Depending on how you were being moved, you might have been seeing some activity in your account over the last month or so, but all of you definitely having a change today because I moved folks into their actual business units. We had that aligned with today's training. So your experience since after 9 a.m. today might be a little different than what it was before. So in having fewer business units across the system offices, we are sharing business units, and that is going to require organization with primarily a folder structure as well as naming conventions so that we can all remain organized. So I'm going to go ahead and pop into an account, and you might have noticed a slight change in your business unit, but we'll also primarily look at Content Builder, where you'll see a folder structure if you are sharing your business unit with others. So I am in an account right now, or a business unit CU system resources. And I've navigated to my email studio and email. And I'm on the overview tab right now, but I'm going to go ahead and click on content in the top navigation. And this is where we can see an example where what used to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different business units are now being shared within one. And so this folder structure is very important. So we have had our team go ahead and move content into these business units. I believe that dated back to July 1st of 2022. So yeah, you might see some names in here of folks last modifying your work, but that was really just making it available to you. So if you're sitting there thinking like, well, I had a campaign from January of 2022 that I'm going to want to clone in the future. Good news is, well, even though you can't see it right now in your account, your eComm specialist does still have access to that. So just go ahead and let them know, and they'll be able to make it available. You'll also notice perhaps there was a freeze in moving this content. So there's a chance that you've uploaded content within the last couple of days that did not get moved over. So you can either just go ahead and re-upload it into your new account if that's not a big deal, or again, reach out to your eComm specialist and they'll get it moved. But there's a potential for a gap there. So while all of your content has been moved to the correct folder, there is an action on your all's part moving forward to just continue this organization. So either click into your folder before you start creating content, or when you duplicate assets or content, it's going to automatically keep it in the same folder. So it should be pretty intuitive. But if you ever do find yourself that you uploaded a ton of stuff to the big Content Builder parent folder, it'd be great if you could go ahead and move those assets. The quick actions here. Just keep things clean. We do have a full tutorial on moving items across folders in all aspects of Marketing Cloud there if you need it. I'd like a thumbs up on this one. I know not everyone uses Salesforce send emails. They typically use like the guided send wizard. And if you don't use this, you'll definitely know, you won't know what I'm talking about. But can I get a thumbs up if you use Salesforce send emails? So in there will be a similar folder structure. If you do guided sends, don't worry about it at all. I guess we might need to add the folder structure to this folder because we do have some in here. We will want to see that same folder structure here as well. So moving on to send classifications and sender profiles. And I'm going to go ahead and just do a like preview and test version of an email so that we can look at this. And that would be a good way for you to do it as well. I'm just going to find a random email here and do preview and test. And then the second option, it's like an envelope with a beaker. You can look at your from options. And so we've gone ahead and used this abbreviated naming convention to precede all of your previous sender profiles and send classifications. So everything that used to exist should have been migrated. The only difference is it might be preceded with your abbreviated unit. And that just to keep these things organized. So OIS knows all of their items are here, OPEs lumped together. Again, organization, since that list will be longer now. Are folks seeing the send classifications populated in their account, particularly if they're sharing a business unit? Just want to make sure if there's anything we missed that's getting caught. So similar to that folder structure that we saw in Content Builder that we didn't see in Salesforce send emails, but we have taken a note to work on. It should be in the tracking area as well. So we'll see if I'm biting my tongue or not. Let's navigate within tracking and sends. Very good point, Lauren. Yes. And sorry, I should have mentioned this earlier. I know sent out the emails yesterday as well as one like a week ago inviting you to this session. And so we did try to be clear about like, are you sharing with other people? And here are the people you're sharing it with. So there are some select groups where you're the only person in it. And therefore this folder structure is not warranted. As well as those abbreviated units on the send classifications. But we do see in tracking, as I was hoping for, the same folder structure here. So this will be an additional task on everybody's part when you are sending, to be mindful of where you are sending tracking data. And I'll be honest, I know this is going to come up. It's very much overlooked. I don't think a lot of people were sending items to tracking, whereas I know a lot of people were leveraging folders in Content Builder before. So I'll give you grace there. Don't be too hard on yourself. But similarly, if you've moved something to tracking that needs to be moved after the fact to your folder, check boxes and move it. So that's fairly intuitive. But I will also show you, go back to an example of sending an email via the guided send method, which is what I believe most of you use. I'm just going to do a quick actions to send. So of course, after selecting your send classification, I'm going to go commercial, say next. It is the step after selecting your audience. Well, I'll just show you this now. When you're sending, there's a folder structure within your Salesforce data extensions as well. So this should make finding your audience easier. And it is not until the configure delivery portion of sending an email. I think this tracking piece is often overlooked. People are typically just scheduling it for the future or sending immediately. But by default, it's going to send to that parent My Tracking folder, but you have the opportunity to change that and select where that tracking information will go. So this is different than the case of moving content or moving send classifications. For those migrating to a business unit, tracking details are not moved. So you might be in your folder or in your tracking folder and seeing nothing there. And that is intentional. We are not able to migrate this data on the Marketing Cloud side. That said, and I'm going to touch on this, but I'm going to move through it a bit fast because we do need to hit on email preferences and audiences. And I intend on having a follow-up session around dashboards. But your data is not gone. This isn't, oh crud, I should have exported all that information and it's gone forever. We have dashboards. I should go to my homepage first. Business unit dashboards as they're listed here, and in the future I should probably go ahead and rename these, but we've got this for system. So if we're to look at these dashboards, I've gone ahead and updated the list of business units that are listed out here, but when I say all, I guess I didn't need to say all, but my point here is that we are not losing this data. We might not be capturing it on that Marketing Cloud side, and we might need to update how we set up the filter logic here in order to report on this. But you will be able to, if you've been using eComm, will be able to add filters to this dashboard to compare your past sends to your future sends. The only difference might be you're going to start using Salesforce dashboards rather than looking at it in Marketing Cloud. And I know that might be a little frustrating, but it's better actually. Like, it depends on what you're doing with it. Absolutely. I know folks just spend more time in there, but as far as actually capturing data, turning around and leveraging it to use it for better follow-up communications, Salesforce is really where it's at. So this is an area that I'm excited to get folks to adopt more. I will also add there that you might notice I have an example of like Colt, Colorado Online Learning, Teaching, and Technology. They used to have their own business unit, so they might like, oh no, I'm not able to pull my data anymore. But we're able to add items like, okay, give me everything that's from Colt. It doesn't matter what business unit it came out from, was it a year ago or 2 years ago, we're going to be able to pull dashboards on it. So I hope that eases your fears if you had any around losing data. So looking at or pivoting to the email preferences and audience space. So this is, I know I already touched on looking at data extensions, but these have also been migrated. We've been in there since 2015. We did not move all of them. We migrated the ones that have been used, looking at the system office, those that had been used since March 1st of 2023. So we are well aware there's going to be cases where like, well, I had a list in February, I'm going to need it. That's cool. We've archived it. We just need to do a little tweak to it to make sure it's ready for you to send, that it's not going to violate CAN spam or something. So we'll continue to work on those lists. If you are thinking of a huge list right now, you can go ahead and batch them to us or wait till they come up. It's perfectly fine. So We kind of already saw that change to the data extensions in the sending window, that there was that folder structure, which is really great while you're sending. However, as all of you know, it's crucial for you to start your data extension before you send it every single time. So you do that within interactions and import in this window. And the thing I don't like about this window is that there is no folder structure and we can't create it. So you are going to be in a situation where you have a lot of pages down here. We know this, and you are going to need to leverage, similarly to the send classification, just use that first part of the abbreviated unit to get to your section of data extensions. And again, if you're not sharing a unit with other people, you probably aren't seeing other differences between how it's proceeded, and that's okay. I know I skipped over this one, but I guess system didn't have as many changes as some of the other campuses, but we also consolidated email preferences where there were opportunities to do so. And in some cases they were renamed. So just be mindful. We didn't change the naming convention by any means. I still see this ending in TXN, meaning it's transactional in nature, or sub UIS, subscribed to UIS communications. But there's some folks who used to have a communications category and an events category, and they're just going to have a communications category moving forward. So if you're unsure in your account right now, go back to the email that I sent out yesterday, and that should provide clarity on what your old preferences were and what your newly available ones are, if you're unsure. So similarly to data extensions, because reports in Salesforce are the root of every single data extension, we've done a similar process where those that had been used recently are automatically available. We've just gone ahead and archived everything else. We didn't hit delete, so that not only should make y'all's world easier if you're like, hey, could I look at that? And it should be easier for your eComm specialist and faster to turn around your request if you do want access to a list you used to have. So for the most part, things have been moved, and up until a certain date, so those recent items, you can find those dates based off your campus throughout the wiki. But there are some individuals where we are deleting business units. This is that ultimate cost savings that we are getting. And so a majority of us have the luxury of, oh, it'll still be available for a long time, and if something didn't move, just let us know, it'll be available. But if your business unit is getting deleted, and those are listed out here on the screen, then you need to be extremely mindful of getting your content in particular retrieved before August 31st, or it will be gone and unable to be recovered. I'll reiterate that tracking, well, you might feel like you need to export all of that right now. I tend to disagree. That data should be available in Salesforce to be used more efficiently, and you could actually act on it. So if you have a concern around that, please reach out to your eComm specialist rather than spending hours exporting data right now. If you attended the live session, you might recall UIS was listed here accidentally. That is not true. So this has been updated to reflect the business units that will actually be deleted. Our apologies for that slight heart attack. So other than that, just keep working in your business unit. Be thoughtful about, particularly if you are sharing a business unit with others, keeping things organized and following along with that folder structure that's been created. And if others are creating clutter, in that parent folder. No need to take that on yourself. Let your eComm specialist know and they can reach out to those users to correct it. But I do appreciate you all having grace with one another during this transition.